All right, we're going to explore Ranger Regatta racing with the Ranger database. That's how you get in the program. We're going to click on races and other form and the Ranger Regatta race. Fun activity. All right. In this particular program, I've got 13 records in there, and this is how you Rolodex through them. I've got some data already in here just for the sake of me not typing it in. And we're going to start with record number one. First thing you would do is go through here and make sure that you're going to be doing these things down here and that you would be putting this information in here correctly. And then you would pick your classes. And the way you pick classes, you click over here. Let's say we want to add a leader to that or whatever. And then we click this, paste it in there, and it puts it in this box, and it automatically puts it in there. And then you click the little X, tag it off and on, and that's how that works. Tag that off and on like it's supposed to. There we go. And so on. So that would tag that. Now, I'm going to take the leader back out of it, and you can use these abbreviations. This will fit for about any group you wanted to use. And then there's your two classes again. So basically you have your blank registration sheet, and I would not pick a class on this one. I would leave that blank, and then I would go through there and we would create 30 records that were blank that wouldn't have any data in it. Just have this information would be correct on it. Now, if you're not wanting to do this part of it or something else and you want to simplify it, you can just click that on there, and then that will even simplify it even more. So you go up here and you click File Print, and you would print off those 30 records. And if you need to create some more, you just click on that one and go with that. Also, if your number's not at one, you can go through here and reset one and delete all records and start all over and put that information from being fresh. Now, the next thing you would do is your big numbers. You pre-print these before the day of the race, print out 30 numbers or however many you need for your race, and to run that 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper through your printer, and then you would run this through your paper cutter or your paper serration device so that they can rip this in half. They would take this first number to the front of the boat, the second number to the back of the boat. All right, talk a little bit more about the screen here before we get into something else. You can print certificates from it. You can keep notes of who's coming to your racing. It's just a text file just there, so that's handy with that. Tell you how many people are coming and how many people want lunches and suppers. Then this is your judges' instructions. Basically, I would print off 5 of these, and then I would have judges 1 through 5. I would refer to them as judge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let them put their name in there so I can thank them after the fact. This tells them what they're going to be doing as far as that goes. And then we go back over here to the judge tally sheet. Now, this has got some data that's already loaded up in it where they've judged this. Is not normally wouldn't be there. These would all just be blank. There'd be places for them to put numbers. I would print off 5 copies of this and put them in 5 3-ring binders, and each judge would get that last judge instructions and this, and then they would be instructed to judge by design, team, and Titanic. The timing is all done by another method, but that's how they would be timing and scoring. So that would be taking place during the racing and before, for like your judging for your design would be done before the racing is done as well. So there's that, and then you have your total sheet, which will give you all the totals of all these numbers and everything in a final thing. And then you also have a worksheet, which gives you a place where you can change this data and make a report on it as well with all the information already in there. Then you've got your staff, and this is a quick way for you to put in there and type in their name. I'll generally take this and clipboard and go from camp to camp, and I will get these judges information in there, and we'll get all of that, all my people lined up for the event. A lot of this I'll do the night before the regatta or the morning of and try and get that all lined out. As far as the judges goes, we pick out of the hat of all the churches that are represented there, and then we draw the 5 judges out of the hat for that. Okay, so let's say we got all registration in. Let's go ahead and add us a boat in here, and we're called Big Skinner, and the name is Ralph Reed, and he's from Abundant Life, and there's his outpost number, and he's going to run a boat in the Ranger Kids class. Okay, so he's registered. Let's go to this next one, and if you got 30 with 30 records in there, you don't have to create a new record. But anyway, let's go with this boat here, and this is called Down Under, and it's done by Jim Johns, and he is not from a church listed in here. Let's say we went all the way down through, they didn't find it, so we'd open the church database and we'll create a new record, and we're going to call this Church of the Regatta, and we're going to call them Outpost 1111, and then we'll get back to the Regatta part. We'll click in there, and then Church of the Regatta. Now, if you put a duplicate name in there, and it's going to only find the first outpost number, so your names need to be, basically different in that respect. Okay, so that information's in there. Let's go over to the tally sheet. This is actually how you run the race, and in this case, I've already got time that's already in here, and I also have the judges sheets in there just to simplify the data entry. But basically, this is really how we would do it. Let's go ahead and reset this time for this one right here, and let's reset this one as well. And all that's doing is just clearing the time out from the racers. But I'm going to go down through here and start making my heats. Let's say I wanted these two to run again, and I would tag these. This would be 3 boats running. I'm going to go B, B, and B, and it's creating my heats. Let's just say we want to run 4 boats at a time, and then this is a C, C, and all I'm doing is clicking in it and typing in the letter. And then let's go another C, and let's make this one an A as well. So I'll automatically resort that as it puts it in there. Okay, so there we have these boats racing. Notice our numbers are now different on how they're going to be racing, and these would be our lineup for our heats. So let's say we're going to run these 4 boats, and the way you do this is your help is built here. This is telling you what I'm doing, but there's the information there. If you need to get hold of me, there's my contact information. But basically all you're doing is say, yes, I want to race that boat. So you would go put a Y in there, a Y in there, a Y in there, and a Y in there. And I'm capturing screen, so it's being a little bit cantankerous because of that. Okay, so those 4 boats I just tagged, it put them in here into the Y's, and let's go ahead and change this guy to a Y as well, because he's still a Z. And they're ready to race. So we go up here, ready, line them up in the heat race, and they're ready to go. Of course, some of these have already started timing, so we're not going to really mess with that, just to leave that alone. And you would go start, and they say on your mark, get set, go. They blow the whistle, the boy hits the cone, they pull the boat in the water, launch it, and float across the lake, and do their various things, and away they go. Now, in this case right here, this is a Titanic, and his time started from the clock time. We're going to give him a sunk because he's actually a sunk in there, and it gives him part of this time, which is a big amount over what they would get for speed. And then this one right here, he cleared the clock, and so he went on. So you would also go on here and set their time there, and so on. And it's basically just overwriting what time they had already in that file. So you get your group that's already ran them. It changed them all to Z's because they had run before. And now we go to the B's and type in a Y, Y, a Y, and we're going to run them now. So we got those 3. Yes, they're ready to roll. Hit the start button again. It creates the start time, click the stop time. This guy here sunk because of the score that he has in there, and then this guy came in with his time like that. Let's go back here and run the race again. And you have these 4 guys here. So yes, we're going to change all those to C's. Those C's to Y's, I mean. And there they are there. And we're ready to race. Mark it, set, go. Start the time. And the clock is set. Now, this guy right here is sunk, so we know that. And these time here, there's no Titanic score in there, which you're not going to have that in there anyway. But anyway, let's say they hit stop, the stop button, and you notice that the green means that they're still racing. And when it turns gray or white, then that means that their racing is over. Okay, so we basically run all these boats. They all have Z's. That means that they've all ran. They all have timing. And while the racing was done, they were scoring. The judges were scoring for design, team, and Titanic. And Of course, the design is going to be done before the race starts, and you throw those people out of the hat, and they're judging those before they ever get on the start ramp. And then you're looking for team and Titanic. So really, all they're doing is really judging team and Titanic. And they jump back over to their tally sheet, and they check everything out. Now, whenever you're looking at this, sometimes your judge tally sheet won't be in order, so you'll want to sort by boat number, and that puts them all back in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So let's look at your tally sheet, and there they are there. Now let's run a time report, race time, and this is going to sort them by the groups, the classes that they're racing in, and then this will be your first, second, third place, or second, third place for the Ranger Kids and the Adventure Rangers, and that's time. And then you got your sort for design. Go over here. It's going to pick out your first 3 places, or first, by for design. Same with sort with your Titanic and your teamwork. In this case, it's teamwork. First, second, third, and then your sort for your Titanic. And you just basically print those out or not. And then there's your first, second, third place. Like, for example, we only had one guy score on the Titanic, so he got it first. The other 2 trophies never got taken, but that would be rare. Generally, we'll have at least 50-50 in Titanics and so on. So that's how that works. Works real well. We've used it for several years, and I've tweaked it. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout.